transformation, industrial edge, and how that's going to help to reduce downtime. And we'll certainly talk a lot about some of the business consequences of downtime, which many of us know, and consequences, some of the trends regarding that, and strategies to reduce them. And then we also have a maturity model, which there's a survey in your app that you can that we'd appreciate if you take at some point. So, some of the stats we've been using at ARC about that there's about $65 billion of systems reaching the end of their useful life. Many of these which would be things such as DCS systems. And if you take the number of those systems that are over 20 years old, it gets up to about $53 billion. And when we talk about the average impact of unscheduled downtime, that's really just like an oil and gas number. If we probably add up the total cost of downtime for every industry across the board, it's probably about 15 to 20 times that number. So obviously, we talk about some of the business consequences of that, and some of the costs of whether it be in petrochems, 2 to 5% of all production can be lost to unscheduled downtime. And another thing that's critical, of course, is that the cost of unscheduled downtime versus scheduled downtime, such as when you're doing maintenance, and what that does that increase your inventory costs and labor costs. Some of the causes, of course, whether it be because of maybe poor asset management for equipment failure that would stop the line. Sometimes it's an issue of that it's equipment that just has not been maintained. And ultimately, the result of all this is obviously lower KPIs and certainly having a direct effect on both the top and bottom lines of the company. Downtime certainly can be caused from a matter of asset issues because the assets haven't been properly maintained. And at the same time, sometimes it's issue of human issues. Maybe hasn't been sufficient training, or maybe there's not sufficient people monitoring the processes or equipment monitoring remote processes, for example. So some of the ways to help avoid some of that is certainly the adoption of things that, standards, leveraging a lot of today's edge technologies to be able to monitor the device at the point that the device is operating, rather than necessarily, relying on sending all that information up to, say, the cloud, and that where there may be a certain amount of latency to that, or certainly issues that companies may have with what information can go to the cloud or not. And, and also it can help certainly as companies have been doing more and more with virtualization to at least be able to do a software simulation of their machine. So virtualization is certainly something that is something that's one strategy that's certainly been used over the years. Disaster recovery solutions of sending the data out of the plant. Some people actually refer to the cloud as almost sometimes a disaster recovery solution, because at least if there's an explosion or a problem on-prem, at least that the data is now located someplace else. So that's obviously another strategy we have for downtime. Now at ARC, we like to do all our maturity models to see where people are as far as for programs to either to prevent unscheduled downtime. Is it something that they just haven't really thought about, or are they thinking about it, or are they implementing programs to that? And what we have in your, if you look at the session description and you scroll down past the description, at the end there's a link, and you'll see this single question accessible on that link. And if you would want to take that survey to determine as far as where your plant may be, and it's regarding programs for unscheduled downtime, we'd certainly appreciate it. And if you leave your email address at the end of the survey, we'll send you the results. And it's something that'll incorporate the people that are in this session, but we've also been sending it out to certainly other ARC clients, so it'll be a bigger sample size than that. So again, we all know the heavy consequences of unscheduled downtime on profitability, productivity, certainly return on investment, return on assets. But we do think that digital transformation, industrial edge, and other solutions that allow you to do a much better job of doing asset management and the ability to kind of catch problems in a predictive and prescriptive fashion before they actually occur, and to take care of it, is something that's going to go a long way to again, reducing unscheduled downtime. But we have 5 cases where you'll hear far more in depth than I'm certainly getting And as I said, take advantage of the fact that we have so many great speakers and great panelists in this session. And with that, we'll get started. And Walter and Mike, you can come on up.